while he's young enough to be my son, he left me as a brother.
When you lose a police officer, it's like you lose a hero. You know, a hero is gone.
He paid the price, the ultimate price for helping us out.
They've lost a son. We feel like we have lost a brother.
He passed away and he left us doing what he loved.
Thank you, your life matters.
He's just a phenomenal person, very well liked, did his job the right way with professionalism, and he just honored our badge, and we're going to miss him deeply.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us. I'm Courtney Bryant.
And I'm Kurt Rivera. Tonight, we are mourning the loss of a local hero, Bakersfield police officer David Nelson, killed in a car crash in the line of duty.
We have team coverage tonight on this day of remembrance. Adam Herbets is at the crash site in Northeast Bakersfield with a look back at Officer Nelson's life.
Tom Murphy spoke with the community with their messages of condolences for the officer's family.
Carol Ferguson is at Lerdo Jail with new information on the man accused of starting the police pursuit that led to Officer Nelson's death.
But first, reporter Jose Gaspar is in Glendale, where the fallen officer is being laid to rest tonight. Jose?
Kurt, you know, after a church service that lasted about 3 hours, the funeral service finally wound up here in Glendale just a little while ago. As a matter of fact, you can see the caravan of police officers, hundreds of them that showed up. They are now leaving Forest Lawn Cemetery here in Glendale. But you see the flag back there, it's flying at half staff. That really tells the whole picture of why everybody showed up here today. The casket containing the body of Bakersfield police officer David Nelson is unloaded at the Hall of Liberty. An honor guard stands at attention. David Nelson was just 26 years old, a 2-year veteran of the Bakersfield Police Department.
I take great pride in the fact that we got to spend 2 years with Officer David Nelson, that we had him for that long, serving our community, and really just being a exemplary police officer who was very brave, very courageous.
His life ended too soon, killed in the line of duty when his patrol vehicle crashed into a wall during a high-speed pursuit early Friday morning. The outpouring of support has been overwhelming. Many public officials from Bakersfield came to his funeral.
It's imperative that the police officers know that they have our support, and when something like this happens, you drop everything and be here.
Those who knew him say it was a job he loved doing and was proud to do it.
Did his job day in and day out, came to work with enthusiasm and ready to protect our community, which he's not even from.
His death touches not just his family, but his brothers and sisters in law enforcement.
God calls you home when it's his time, not yours. We all think in terms of a 26-year-old, and he's got, you know, life in front of him, and it's for us, it's the saddest thing that could ever happen. And I know his family's got to be grieving tremendously. I thank him for the service that he was doing for the city.
Back live here once again in Glendale. As you can see, the parade of officers just keeps coming out, and of course police departments in and around Kern County. Well, we're well represented here at the funeral service in Glendale, as well as the Kern County Sheriff's Department, along with Deputy District Attorney, make that District Attorney Lisa Green as well, and Mayor Harvey Hall. Finally, they came out to pay their respects and say goodbye to Officer David Nelson. Reporting live in Glendale, I'm Jose Gaspar. Now back to you in the studio.
All right, Jose, thank you.
And today's funeral for the officer lasting for nearly 2 hours as friends, family, and co-workers shared stories about the fallen officer.
Eyewitness News reporter Matt Boone gives us a look at today's services. Matt?
Courtney, David Nelson was remembered as a hero, not just for being a police officer, but for his actions in everyday life. Media was not allowed in today's funeral services. However, the family did make a recording available online. California Attorney General Kamala Harris was there, making opening remarks, addressing Officer Nelson's family directly.
Your son was taken from us far too soon, but the ultimate sacrifice he made cannot, and I promise you, will not be forgotten.
Those who knew him described him as energetic, upbeat, caring, and passionately loyal.
Doesn't matter if you met him once or if you've known him your whole life. His personality was so infectious that it was guaranteed to leave an indelible impression.
David is a warrior, a leader, a guardian, and a brother.
One friend remembered him particularly for his tenacity.
We tried to convince him that Chick-fil-A should not be consumed at the amount he ate it. Didn't buy it.
Another remembering him for his near boundless energy.
We'd be at the gym or playing basketball, but then he'd come straight home and ask if I wanted to get in a bag workout on Phil's punching bag out back. Honestly, don't know when he ever slept.
And his uncle, recalling even from an early age Officer Nelson's sense of selflessness and dedication.
David's ideology was a simple one. We see it emblazoned on police vehicles across the land: to protect and to serve. His goal in life was a reflection of the Bakersfield PD's mission statement. He was committed to achieving excellence in public safety by conducting himself with honor.
Today's services in their entirety. A link will be available on our website, bakersfieldnow.com. In studio, Matt Boone, Eyewitness News.
Thanks, Matt. So what events led us to where we are tonight? Friday, June 26th, 2:37 a.m. Officer David Nelson stops a car near Flower and Haley Streets, but the driver takes off. Minutes later, tragedy. Nelson's car slams into a wall at Panorama Drive and Mount Vernon Avenue. The car catches fire and fellow officers pull him out. But at 3:05, Officer Nelson is pronounced dead at Kern Medical Center. Later that day, a reward is put out for information leading to the arrest of the suspect Officer Nelson was chasing. And on Saturday, a breakthrough. At 8:30 that morning, police get a tip the car Nelson was chasing was seen in the 2600 block of Sunny Lane in Bakersfield. Police find it and take 32-year-old Julian Hernandez into custody. At 11:30 that night, Hernandez is officially arrested in connection with Officer Nelson's death. And on June 30th, he is formally charged with several felonies, including vehicular manslaughter and evading an officer causing death. That same evening, a public viewing is held for Officer Nelson at Forest Lawn Cemetery in Glendale, where he is being buried today. People who knew him say Officer Nelson was a phenomenal officer and a phenomenal person.
Our Adam Herbets is live on Panorama Drive at the scene of that crash with more. Adam.
Well, Courtney, this is just one of a few memorials around town to honor Officer David Nelson. Take a look behind me. There are balloons, there are posters, flags, flowers, and candles. Everything you can imagine to make this officer feel as loved as possible in this time of need for his family. Today, we spoke to some of the men who worked and trained alongside Officer David Nelson. Today, Chief Greg Williamson is at a funeral. On Monday, he was at a podium, sharing the moment he had to tell Officer David Nelson's family that they lost a loved one.
While he's young enough to be my son, he left me as a brother.
Nelson graduated from Burbank High School and Occidental College. The chief calls him a gym rat, a big-time basketball player that never took a day off.
I saw his face and it was like chills rather than anything. It took my breath away. How did someone I see every single day all of a sudden not be here anymore?
While Bryson Cotton is left behind at the gym, he wants to thank Nelson's family for raising a gentleman.
Humble but very hardworking.
Nelson joined the Bakersfield Police Department 2 years ago, but the people he worked with say he acted like a veteran.
There's nothing you could say about this man that wasn't absolutely stellar.
Jeff Tack has been a reserve officer for 28 years and has been out in the field with Nelson a handful of times.
Spot on, as great a cop as you're going to find. As hard as it is to get through, they're honoring a hero.
Now he's one of the many people leaving messages for a grieving family. He told them that David Nelson will never be forgotten.
He immediately inspired a confidence. He had a presence as if he'd been there for 15 years and beyond. He did an incredible job.
If you would like to send messages or condolences to the Nelson family, you can do that until July 10th. The number where you can do that is 661-852-7021. We're live in Northeast Bakersfield. Adam Herbets, Eyewitness News. Kurt, Courtney.
Adam, thank you.
And if you want to attend a local memorial service to honor Officer Nelson, there will be one next Tuesday at Rabobank Theater in Bakersfield. It's located on Truxton Avenue between Chester and Union. The service will be held at 3 p.m. And the Bakersfield Police Department is putting together a book of remembrance which they plan to give to the Nelson family. If you have a memory, story, or message of condolence you would like to send to his family, please email it to condolences@bakersfieldpd.us. You have until Friday, July 10th.
And support has been pouring in from the community as people send their condolences to Officer Nelson's family. Eyewitness News reporter Tom Murphy is live with some of those messages. Tom.
Kurt, Courtney, we are back here at the crash site at Panorama and Mount Vernon right now, and I just wanted to give you guys a closer look at this memorial that's been set up. We've been giving you the digits of the condolence line all week long, ever since the crash happened early Friday morning. But just right now, I'm looking at a letter written by a school child. You can just see it reads, "Protecting our nation, Officer David Nelson." These school kids that have learned a lesson of loss. And it's been a community that has shown their support. We've been giving the condolence line for the entire week. There have been 120 calls that have gone into that condolence line, over 30 emails that have gone in towards the BPD and Officer Nelson, and it just shows how much this community cares.
They're out there trying to protect us every day and what they go through, and it's really just a sad, sad thing.
Saddened whenever we have a public servant, especially one who's constantly giving their life daily.
I'm sorry for his family and for everyone involved. Let's hope it doesn't happen again.
Back out here, and just want to show you one more time that these flowers are starting to wither. The candles are still here. They can be lit. I was out here earlier today, and one of the BPD officers that must have known Officer Nelson was out here just kind of maintaining everything, making sure it all looked good. So if you want to contribute to the memorial, come out here. From Panorama and Mount Vernon, Tom Murphy. I'm going to toss it back to the studio, though, right now. Guys, back to you.
Thanks, Tom.
Coming up, new court documents in the case against the man accused of causing the death of Officer Nelson, what Julian Hernandez told police officers after his arrest.
And a closer look into previous deaths of local law enforcement officials, what these tragedies had in common with Officer Nelson's death. Our team coverage continues in a moment.
Now, your First Alert weather forecast with Miles Museum.
It's the middle of the week, but it is the beginning of a brand new shiny month. And
all right, thank you, Miles.
We'll be right back. As Officer David Nelson is laid to rest today, the case gets underway against the man accused of causing that death.
Eyewitness News reporter Carol Ferguson has new information in the case against 32-year-old Julian Hernandez. Carol?
Hernandez is in custody at the maximum medium section of the Lerdo jail behind me here tonight. We now have court documents showing what he told officers after he was arrested. Julian Hernandez was in court yesterday, as we told you. He faces 5 felony counts, including evading an officer, causing death. When Officer David Nelson's car crashed Friday morning, investigators say he was chasing after Hernandez, and the officer later died of his injuries. A tip then led officers to a Northeast Bakersfield apartment where Hernandez was arrested. Court documents we obtained show Hernandez then told an investigator he drove off from Officer Nelson so fast he had the gas pedal pushed to the floor, and he had a loaded shotgun behind the driver's seat and, quote, was going to do whatever it took to avoid capture by the police. Hernandez has also been charged with vehicular manslaughter with gross negligence and 3 felony counts related to being a felon with a weapon. District Attorney Lisa Green says those are charges supported by the evidence, but she notes the CHP is still investigating the crash.
The investigation is ongoing, and if there was anything else uncovered during that investigation, we certainly could reevaluate that. But at this time, what we filed is what we feel we can prove in court.
She adds that each of those charges is related and stems from the death of an officer in the line of duty during a pursuit. Hernandez is now expected to be back in court on those charges on July 10th. We are live at the Lerdo Jail. Back to you.
Thank you, Carol.
And the last 4 local law enforcement officials to die in the line of duty were all involved in vehicle pursuits.
Eyewitness News reporter Mimi Alcala brings back a video from past fallen officers and how they too are being remembered. Mimi?
Kurt, Courtney, the last 4 officers from BPD, Kern County Sheriff's Department, and CHP were all under the age of 36 when killed. Weed Patch Highway has been dedicated as the Deputy James Throne Memorial Highway in memory of the sheriff's deputy who died May 23, 2008 while on a chase. Throne's car slammed into another deputy's during that chase near the highway. Officer Eric Shane Manny, 35 years old, killed December 21, 2005 on the I-5 near the Grapevine while in a high-speed chase. He worked for the CHP. Officer Manny's patrol car rolled several times over an embankment. Then, July 17, 1983, 27-year-old Bakersfield police officer William Sokola killed in a motorcycle accident while responding to assist in the pursuit of a stolen vehicle. And now another young man added to the list of fallen officers, 26-year-old David Nelson.
It's very sad and it's very tragic, not knowing where we're going, trying to follow someone who's probably breaking the law as we're trying to follow them, makes it that much more dangerous.
Pluggy also tells me he hopes there's more communication between the community and law enforcement officers so that situations like this don't happen in the first place. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Mimi. We'll be right back.
Now, Eyewitness News Sports with Craig Kerr.
So a lot of changes have been coming to the Bakersfield Condors,
Right.
exciting ones, and today we got to see a new change.
By the way, is about 2.82, so very impressive
That
for
is.
Mickey in the pro ranks. That's
Okay.
been a very good job. Japan defeats England 2-1, so it'll be Team USA and Japan, a rematch of the last World Cup, which Japan won after a 2-2 draw. They won on PKs. And quickly mentioning, too, the ending to this one was not pretty. England had an own goal, a goal into their own net in stoppage time.
Just got hurt.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
So it
Wow.
is.
Well, we're excited to see the ladies play, and do
Yeah.
you think they have a pretty good chance of winning?
Oh, yeah. 5 straight shutouts already. Sunday in Vancouver. I like their chances against Japan. Sure do.
Well,
Yeah, what do you think about the Condors' new uniforms?
I like them.
Greg?
Hey, it's pretty much what I expected.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
had the logo up behind us for quite some time.
Is
Sort of
that
knew what to
the
expect.
Broncos colors?
Huh?
Broncos
Similar.
colors?
Looks like it, huh?
Yeah.
Or the New York Mets a little bit.
Yeah.
All right, we are looking at
Boise
another
State.
chance for
No.
some
Boise State.
thunderstorms tonight. Late tonight and first thing tomorrow. Temperatures are going to still be over 100 degrees for the next many days, so it is heat wave number 3 continuing.
All right. Thanks, Miles. We're out of time. Thank you for joining us. Always online at BakersfieldNow.com. Good night.
Good night.
Good night.